Hey guys! Bored of those vocab lists? Me too. At 1 Degree North Companion, we're turning Wordly Wise into an adventure to make learning actually interesting. Let's jump in.
All right, today we are diving into an absolutely incredible story of pure genius. It all starts with this really cool idea, making leaves talk.
I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a fantasy story, right? But talking leaves was actually the name the Cherokee people gave to a brand new revolutionary invention. It was a way to make paper speak, capturing their language for pretty much all time.
And this is the guy who did it, Sequoia himself. Now here's the wild part, the central paradox of his entire life. He couldn't read or write a single word, not one. And yet, he was about to invent an entire written language completely from scratch.
So how did this whole journey even begin? Well, it wasn't some aha moment with an apple falling on his head. No, it started with a really powerful observation and this just burning sense of purpose.
See, Sequoia noticed that written communication gave the European settlers this huge advantage. I mean, think about it, treaties, messages, history. It was all recorded on these talking leaves. He realized that without a written language of their own, the Cherokee Nation was at a serious, critical disadvantage, and he was determined to do something about it. He wanted to level the playing field.
So, to really understand just how deep his mission went, we need to get a handle on the concepts that were driving him. So let's look at a few key words that really unlock his story and the genius of his solution. First up, benefit. Sequoia's entire mission was driven by the potential benefit for his people. He just knew a written language would bring so much good. You know, that Latin root bene means good. It would allow them to preserve their history and communicate across huge distances.
And this mission, it was fueled by a real sense of dismay. That deep, gut-wrenching worry he felt watching the Cherokee lose their lands. That feeling, it became the powerful motivation for his entire life's work.
Now, to even have a chance at succeeding, Sequoia had to master the thousands of distinct sounds in his language. Just think about that. It was a monumental task that required incredible skill and years of dedication. So this led him to a really crucial question. How many symbols would be sufficient to capture every single sound in the Cherokee language? You know, would 20 be enough? 100? Maybe 1,000? Finding that perfect number was the key to his whole system.
And finally, he wanted to capture every single word his people could utter, because before his invention, words spoken in Cherokee were just gone. They were lost as soon as they were uttered. Sequoia was absolutely determined to give those words permanence.
Okay, so with all those ideas in mind, let's actually look at the incredible process of creating the language itself. And let me tell you, this was no overnight success.
12 years. Just let that sink in for a second. For over a decade, he faced tireless work, endless trial and error. He was even ridiculed by his own community. They thought he was chasing some impossible dream, but he never, ever gave up.
And he wasn't entirely alone, which is a really beautiful part of this story. He worked together with his daughter. She would carefully speak each word, sounding it out, while he worked to capture those sounds on paper. It really became this true team effort.
So this brings us to the core of his genius. I mean, English uses 26 letters. So how on earth could just 86 symbols be sufficient for the entire Cherokee language? What was his secret?
And here it is. The answer is right there in that highlighted word syllable. Sequoia's genius was realizing he didn't need a symbol for every single letter. Instead, he created a symbol for every core sound or syllable. This kind of writing system is called a syllabary, and it was just perfectly efficient for the Cherokee language.
The syllabary was a total triumph, but its creation, that was just the beginning. Let's explore the incredible impact of Sequoia's gift and what it really tells us about his character.
When you look at what he did, Sequoia was, in every sense of the word, a patriot. His entire 12-year obsession wasn't for fame or for money. It was an act of profound loyalty, something designed to strengthen and protect the future of the entire Cherokee Nation.
And his legacy, it lives on in a truly massive way. You see those giant ancient sequoia trees out in California, some of the largest and oldest living things on planet Earth? Well, they're named in his honor. It's a pretty fitting tribute to a man whose gift was just as monumental.
All right, now it's your turn to connect with this story. Here's a little challenge for you. Think of an inventor that you really admire. Try to describe their work in a short paragraph, but use at least 3 of the key words we've talked about: benefit, dismay, master, sufficient, or utter.
Sequoia's story is just amazing proof that one person's vision can empower entire generations. So it kind of leaves us with this one final big question. What talking leaves, what unique and lasting gift will you create for the world?
Hope you guys enjoyed that last lesson. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Ready for more? The next one starts right now.
Have you ever imagined a world where the columns of temples weren't made of stone, but were actually living things? A place where skyscrapers can breathe and where history is written not in ink, but in the rings of ancient wood? Well, today we're not just imagining it. We're stepping right into that world to walk among the true giants of California. Our journey today starts with a name you might actually recognize. It's a really cool connection between human genius and the absolute wonder of nature, and it stretches back for centuries. So let's rewind a little. Our story kicks off with a man named Sequoia. He was a truly brilliant Cherokee inventor who did something that changed everything. He created a written language, a whole syllabary, that gave his people the power to write down their history, their stories, and their laws for the very first time. You know, his legacy is all about creation and connection. And as a tribute to that monumental achievement, his name was given to these incredible trees, the giant sequoias, literally some of the largest living things on our entire planet. A great man honored by a great tree. That's a pretty fitting tribute, wouldn't you say? But the story of these trees, well, it goes so much deeper than just their massive size. We're about to dig into some hardcore facts that reveal the truly incredible life story of these silent giants. Okay, let's start with just a number. 1926. What happened in this year? Well, one of these giants was given a title that would make it a national symbol for generations to come. That's right! The absolutely magnificent General Grant tree was officially named America's Christmas tree. It's a living monument that has held this special title for nearly 100 years now, connecting this ancient life form to a modern tradition. Now, this brings us to something that sounds like a total contradiction. I mean, we think of fire as this destructive force, right? Something that forests have to be protected from. But for the sequoia, fire is actually the key to new life. It's incredible. Destruction literally paves the way for creation. The fire clears away all the old brush on the forest floor, and that intense heat is the trigger, the one thing that forces the sequoia cones to burst open and release their seeds onto this perfect, fresh bed of fertile ash. It's a perfect, unbelievable cycle of rebirth. And you know, the human connection to these giants isn't just symbolic. Take the Rockefeller tree, for example. It stands as a living testament to John D. Rockefeller Jr., whose vision and, frankly, generous donations helped save countless acres of these ancient forests for all of us and for generations yet to come. Okay, to really truly appreciate these incredible stories of scale and survival, we need the right words. So let's get our explorer's toolkit ready and equip ourselves with some powerful vocabulary to help describe this world. Our first word is just a perfect fit: mammoth. And yep, it comes from that giant woolly mammoth that roamed the earth tens of thousands of years ago. Today, we use it to describe anything that is just astonishingly, jaw-droppingly large. For instance, you wouldn't just say the Valles Marineris Canyon system on Mars is big. No way. It's mammoth, a scar on the planet's surface that makes even our Grand Canyon look small. It gives you a sense of that awe-inspiring planetary scale. Next up, we have scorch. This is exactly what we were talking about with a healthy forest fire. See, it doesn't have to completely destroy everything. Sometimes it just burns the surface a little, leaving a mark, but also triggering that new life we saw with the sequoia cones. Think about it in terms of modern tech. A hypersonic jet screaming back into the atmosphere faces unbelievable temperatures. The whole goal is to make sure its heat shield avoids anything more than a slight scorch on the surface. So it's a word of high-stakes precision. Our next word is effect. It seems simple, but it's a really powerful concept. One thing causing a change in another. Cause and effect. Here's a powerful example. For an extreme athlete like a wingsuit flyer, a small, sudden change in the wind doesn't just nudge them a little, it can dramatically affect their entire flight path. It shows you how one little force can completely alter the outcome. And finally, we have calculate. We use this word all the time for math, for risks, but have you ever wondered where it comes from? The story is a little more down to earth than you might think. Isn't that amazing? The ancient Romans used little pebbles for counting and doing their arithmetic. The Latin word for pebble was calculus. So every single time you calculate something on your phone, you are mentally channeling an ancient practice of just lining up stones. How cool is that? All right, now that we're all geared up with the right language, let's put it to use. It's time to explore the world of California's forest giants just a little bit deeper. Now, it's really important to know that not all of these giants are the same. On one hand, you have the redwood, the world's skyscraper, slender and impossibly tall. And then you have the sequoia, the heavyweight champion. Not quite as tall maybe, but with a truly mammoth trunk. So you've got two kinds of giants with two very different strategies for greatness. The text gives us a little clue here. It mentions that redwood is really prized for outdoor use. So think about it. What special property could this wood have that makes it so perfect for a patio table or a park bench that's going to be sitting outside? Come on, you know this. Think about what happens to most wood when you just leave it outside in the elements, in the rain for years. It starts that natural process of breaking down, of rotting. But redwood has a natural resistance to that, to decay. And that is what makes it so incredibly valuable. Wow. We've journeyed from a man's name to a tree's life. We've explored the power of fire and the importance of preservation, and we've mastered the words to describe it all. Now it's your turn to build something just as lasting. So here is your final mission. I want you to think big. If you could build one mammoth structure in your city, what would it be? A towering library? A sprawling park? How would you calculate its impact, and how would it affect the lives of the people there? Use the language we've explored today and dream up your own mammoth legacy. What will you create?
Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. I'll see you in the next one.